All right, we can get started. Hi guys, welcome back to Call Through Fall. And today we have Dr. Graves, who is an oral surgeon. You guys might actually know him from TikTok. He's got quite a follower base on there, but I'll just let him go ahead and introduce himself.
Hey guys, I'm Dr. Graves. I'm an oral surgeon. We're in Amarillo, and you may know us from these are some of our stars off our TikTok. This is Evelyn and Alexis. You know, we're in Amarillo, Texas. I'm an oral surgeon there, and we have one of the larger practices in Texas. We have 3 full-time oral surgeons, and we have two part-time oral surgeons that work in our office. We have an orthopedic surgeon that works there. We have a plastic surgeon that works out of our office. We have about 9 dentists that actually work for our company. We have pediatric dentists that work for us. We have 3 nurses. We have an operating room. We have anesthesia providers, anesthesiologists that work with us. We do Botox. We do fillers. We do everything on the face except the brain and the eyeball. So we're kind of a full scope of a practice. We're going to show you guys a video tonight of a big tumor that we took off a guy last year, I think it was. It's a little bit of raw footage, and we'll get to that. But you know, we originally filmed this for TLC back when we originally did the thing. But I think the first thing that maybe we should talk about is, you know, kind of what is an oral surgeon. You know, and technically, I'm an oral and maxillofacial surgeon, which means that we work inside the mouth, but we also work on the face. And oral surgeons, I mean, there's a big broad spectrum of things that we do. As you imagine, probably the more common thing that we do that you guys probably know us about is we take out wisdom teeth and we do dental implants. I mean, if you have a tumor inside your mouth, you know, we're the person that kind of biopsies and removes those things. But other than that, there's oral surgeons that do facelifts. We do facial trauma. We do Botox. Like I said, pretty much anything on the face. I mean, in oral surgery, you know, there's subspecialties of oral surgery that deal only with jaw surgery, that deal only with cosmetics. So a lot of guys will do their residency and then they'll do a fellowship. And when they finish those fellowships, they're doing nothing but facial cosmetics. So a big broad spectrum of what an oral surgeon actually is and what we actually do. A long way, some things that we do are a long way from what you would do as a dentist. And that's where we all start. We all start in dental school. And actually, let me kind of go through maybe a little slide that I have for you guys here, if I can figure out how to pull this thing up.
You got this.
We practice this, Karen. We practice it. Okay, let's see here. All right, so you guys got that right there, Karen? Mm-hmm. Okay, so if you look at this, dentist versus oral surgeon, right? It's like we're at battle, right? We're battle these guys. So if you look at a dentist, you know, you go to undergrad, you typically get your bachelor's degree, and then you go to a 4-year dental school. And you either get your DDS versus your DMD, which are basically the same thing. Just some schools call it DDS and some call it a DMD, but you have the exact same degree when you're finished. And if you look at what a dentist does, you know, they do dental exams, they do x-rays, they do fillings, they do crowns, sealants, root canals, bridges, they work on your gums. I mean, dentists still have a license, they still take out teeth, they can take out wisdom teeth, they can do implants, they can do the surgery part. But if you look at the basic stuff that a dentist does, this is kind of what you're left with right here. If you look at what an oral surgeon does, you know, we have the same bachelor's degree, we have the same dental degree, but after dental school, instead of going into a private practice, we have to do a residency, and those residencies vary anywhere from an additional 4 to 6 years of residency. So you're looking at, to be an oral surgeon, it takes about 10 to 12 years of school after you graduate high school before you're actually done with your education. You can actually start working. I remember whenever I was going to oral surgery school or my residency, my mom asked me, she said, so when do you actually get a job? I'm like, well, I got like another 4 years and I'll get a job, because it seems like you're in school forever, and school actually becomes kind of your job. And we can talk more about that. And I told Karen that, I mean, we can answer questions as we go. We can somewhat make this informal. But so I get back on track here. Some of the things that we do on a day-to-day basis, like for instance, today, we mainly just took out teeth. So today we took out, Evelyn was in one of our clinics with me, assisted me. I probably did 4 sets of wisdom teeth maybe today. Yesterday I probably did 14 cases, and we did dental implants, we did wisdom teeth, we did these exposure and bracketing. It's like an orthodontic procedure, and I think we actually have one of those surgeries on our YouTube channel. But a big variety of what we do, but the basic stuff that an oral surgeon does are dental implants, wisdom teeth extraction, full arch replacement, which is kind of known as an all-on-4. It's a procedure, and I did this on Monday, where we remove all your teeth and we place implants, and then the person gets teeth that same day. So essentially you go from having no teeth or really, really bad teeth to having perfect teeth that are screwed into your upper or your lower jaw within the same day. We do a lot of bone grafting. We do normal dental extractions. We do facial trauma. I think we had some old lady in the office today that fell down and broke her orbit. So that's something we fix as well. Oral pathology, which is this big tumor we're going to show you here in a second. And then we do like corrective jaw surgery. So you see people who have either an underbite or an overbite, or their face grew too long, or their face is too short, or whatever it is they don't like about themselves. When it comes to the bones of their face, we do surgeries to fix a lot of those different things. If your chin's too small and you need it bigger, we can do that surgery as well. So those are kind of the basic kind of stuff that oral surgeons do as far as a career is concerned. Kieran?
So I'm looking through the comments, and among the requests for Evelyn's hand in marriage, I do.
What?
we get that a lot.
What about my hand?
Yeah.
Someone asked, where did you go to school, and is the work worth the amount of schooling you go through?
I went to dental school at the University of Louisville, and then I did my residency at the University of Tennessee. And I mean, is it worth it? Yeah. I mean, here's the deal: is when I went to dental school, I was going to be a dentist, right? I mean, that's what I wanted to be. I wanted to be a dentist. And I enjoyed doing like the dental work when I was in dental school. I mean, I did a lot of crowns. I mean, I went to dental school in the same city that I was from, so I had a lot of patients. So I was always busy as a dental student. But, the oral surgery was something I just never considered a job. It was always fun, and I would go to oral surgery when I finished the clinic, and I would do that on my free time when I didn't have to do that. And it was just a lot of fun for me. And I kind of made the decision, around my 3rd year of dental school. I was like, I could be a dentist, but this would probably kind of feel like a job to me. I mean, even though it'd be a great job, but I really enjoy oral surgery. And even to this day, it just doesn't feel like a job to me. And I swear there's like this video, and then there's a guy that you're going to see. I'm like people pay me to do this. I do this for free. I mean, this is fun stuff, right? And so, yeah, I enjoy it. And I mean, I was always poor and broke my entire life anyway. So it wasn't like another 4 years of being broke was really going to make a big difference to me. So I wasn't feeling like I was missing out on having an income. So the answer is, to me, 1,000,000%, it's worth the school. Somebody else may not enjoy the oral surgery. I mean, there's other things you can do in dentistry. You can go to orthodontics or prosthodontics. You can be a periodontist. There's other specialties you can do, or you could be a general dentist. And as a general dentist, you can kind of do everything if you really want to.
So how competitive was getting into the residency?
Our residency only took 2 people.
Oh.
And I mean, you have thousands of people who apply for oral surgery. So, I mean, it's very competitive, and I've seen some of the other podcasts people talk about, I had 4.0, blah, blah, blah. I mean, I think everybody knows if you want to be a dentist, if you're an undergrad right now and you want to be a dentist, you need to make good grades, right? I mean, we don't need to sit here and talk about that. I think that's a given, right? You got to have good grades. You got to have good DAT scores if you want to get into dental school. But the hard part is, you guys are in your biology and chemistry class right now, and you probably look around, you probably think, yeah, half these people in my class are idiots, right? So I'm smarter than these people are, right? So you're out competing these people, some of these people in undergrad, they just may not be that smart. I mean, they probably are, don't get me wrong, but you get the point. Then you get to dental school and you have to make good grades to get into oral surgery in dental school. And you look around, everybody around you is smart. I mean, everybody had really good grades, everybody had really good test scores, everybody has good work ethics. So, I mean, you really got to work hard when you get to dental school to kind of maintain those grades, because it's especially if you want to do some type of specialty like orthodontics or oral surgery, because those are very competitive to get into, even more so than it is to get into dental school, which is competitive by itself.
Right. And so someone asked, what was undergrad like for you and what classes did you struggle with the most? If you struggled.
No, everybody struggles with class.
He's like, if I'm being honest.
No, I mean, I just organic chemistry, which is what most people, is kind of the weed out course for most.
Right.
Yeah, I kind of naturally was good at that. The inorganic chemistry was always tough for me. In undergrad, the math was really tough. But I took a lot of like philosophy classes, and I took a lot of English classes, and I was very lucky because my roommate in college, who's now working out in LA producing films and writing films, was fantastic at writing, and he would always help me with all my papers. And to me, those were always like a way to cushion your GPA. They were always kind of easy A's to cushion your GPA. Mm-hmm. And when I was in undergrad, you could do these like biology lab projects. So I would go work in a lab for a semester, and I would get a mentor from one of the professors. And I did this at the dental school there. And I mean, that was always like 5 credit hours of a science that was an A. That really helps your science GPA, things like that. But no, I think to me, it was always the math-based stuff that was more difficult than everything else.
Well, now that all that is over, do you want to show us your case study so we can see what you're doing now that all the organic chem is over?
Right. So this is Charles, and Charles had this ridiculously big tumor on his face. So he came in, and at the time we were filming some stuff for TLC, and we were doing mainly like the full smile makeover. So people who came in who didn't have teeth, or people who had really bad teeth, and we would go in there and remove their teeth, and we'd place new teeth the same day. We make them in a lab right there on site. And it's a good project for TLC because, instantaneous results. If you do like a plastic surgery show, then you have to do the surgery, then they have to come back and refilm, 6 weeks later when the swelling and the patient's healed, versus you can film everything in one day. So we were doing a lot of those type shows for them. And this guy walks in with this humongous tumor, which is I'm just lucky that they were there filming at the time, because this is definitely something we would want video of. So I'll show this to you guys real quick. This is Charles, and let me see here. All right, you see that, Karen?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let me know if something goes wrong.
And I can't get back to sleep. And then just mess with his hand, and scratch, and it don't hurt. And then I never feel it, just never give me no trouble.
Charles Hall is my ex-husband, but we are close friends still.
She takes me places and do things, and if I need some help, she helps me. See, other than that, they just say the same old thing. His mom will be mad again.
I have to get most of his shirts, and I have to cut them, like right here. And I have to cut it so that way it'll fit over his head and with that big ball.
As you scroll through, you can notice, this tumor is about the size of the rest of his head. So if you were to measure this area right here, that's about the size of the rest of his face. Just this extra growth of tumor he has right here. So this is all grown this size in 1 year? Does it hurt?
No, it just don't hurt.
You got any numbness anywhere?
No.
Can you feel me touching right here?
Right there.
The thing that concerns me is as you kind of scroll down on the CT scan, this thing really goes pretty deep into its neck right here. Typically lipomas don't get this big, and if they do grow this big, this rapidly, they're typically a liposarcoma, which is the cancer version of what a lipoma is. Charles, do you have any questions about anything for me?
No, I don't think so. I'm ready to eat.
You ready to eat?
Yeah,
Yeah, I bet you are.
I am, but I'm hungry. I'm looking forward for surgery tomorrow, and I'm just looking forward to get it done.
All right, here's our final weigh-in on our lipoma. Looks like we're at 3.6 pounds on this lipoma, which could be the world record for a facial lipoma.
All right, so there you go. Am I back? Am I back?
Yes, you are.
Okay. And I don't know if that's a world record. I just make stuff up as I go. We did.
It was very impressive.
We did some case studies, and I really couldn't find anything that was that big, but who knows, right? Just to give people a perspective, that lipoma weighed about 3.6 pounds, and the average brain weighs about 4 pounds. So if you look at it in comparison to what your average size of your brain would be, it weighs about that. So that's about the size of the lipoma that we were looking at. And actually, you see me, I was really dissecting a lot of that with my hands. By design. Those things are really encapsulated. It looked like there was a capsule. It wasn't just a bunch of mush that came out. It came out one big piece. And you can kind of run your hand between the underlying tissue, the fascia right there, and the capsule of the tumor. And you can do most of that work with just your fingers and pulling that out versus putting sharp instruments in there. And, there's a lot of real estate in that part of the neck with your carotid and your jugulars that you don't want to get into with anything sharp. But so your fingers, you can kind of peel that stuff off with your fingers if you need to.
Because I did see a question in there asking why you did this sweeping motion with your hand.
Yeah, it's just a little safer way of doing it. And actually, if you see the skull right here, right? You see this thing right here, it's called your xyloid process. You could feel that with your finger in the guy's neck when I was taking the tumor out. I could feel the point of that sticking in my finger when I was taking it out.
So what would have been the consequences if you hadn't removed the tumor?
So it came back a liposarcoma, which is the cancer version of a lipoma. And we sent it for lots of genetic testing on it. And he's lucky. There's the type of tumor that he has, the type of liposarcoma, has a very low metastasis rate. There's no chemo or radiation need. As long as the surgery is done correctly and you get the entire tumor out, you don't need to do any chemo or radiation for that type of tumor that he had. And Charles is just on like a long-term follow-up. Do we have, I thought we had some pictures of him, like his before and after. They're not on the video? Okay. anyways, maybe I'll send you some before and after. You can add it and like
Mhm.
post or something of him. We have some good before and because it's been about a year now, so he looks great. The only thing is he grew a big old beard back, so you know. What are you gonna do? Make him shave his beard so I can have a picture so I can feel good, right?
I mean, it helps you, the self-esteem.
Uh,
So someone asked, could you please talk about the insurance and the cost of surgery and how insurance responded to that? Would you know anything about that?
for you talking about Charles?
Mm-hmm.
So I actually did that surgery for free on that guy. So he
Okay.
came in, and part of the reason that it had got so big was because he didn't have any money and he didn't have any insurance. And that's part of the reason it got big. So he couldn't go anywhere. Nobody would take it off for him, right? And so he came into the office for a consult and we found out he didn't need money. So I was like, well, I'll do it for free. You know what I mean? I mean, how do you not do that for free? I mean, you don't see that walking in the door every day, right? I mean, that's the case that I want to do. And matter of fact, we actually had to drive and pick him up and bring him to the surgery because they didn't have gas money to drive to the office the day of the surgery. And I actually did that on a Saturday because it took me about an hour and a half start to finish to do the surgery, and it could have took me 5 hours. I mean, you don't know how that's going to go until you actually get in there. I mean, there's no base on how long it takes to take that tumor out. So I did on a Saturday because I didn't want to. I mean, I have a busy schedule during the week, and it's hard to schedule massive tumor, in your schedule. Plus, they need to film it, so we ended up doing a Saturday. And the morning of the surgery, they called and they had no gas money, so I had to send somebody from the film crew to his house to pick him up and bring him to the surgery. And then we admitted him overnight for observation just because of the fact that we're so far down in the neck. I just wanted to make sure he didn't have any crazy swelling that would cause some airway issues. So he spent the night in the hospital, which was covered by like the county at the time. But his recovery was relatively quick. He had to wear a big bandage around his neck. And you probably noticed there was a couple of drains in his neck that we put in. And we put those in purposely just in case he has bleeding, that it oozes out his neck and doesn't swell up like a hematoma.
Mm-hmm. So when you said you love this job so much, you do it for free. You really
I did
meant
that for free. Yeah, that's for free. And we did a lot of the surgeries on TLC we did for free. And I mean, those are expensive. I mean, like the surgery I did on Monday, I mean, that's a $53,000 surgery we charge for that. And that one on Monday wasn't for free, but we do a lot of those for free. We do this, and we can talk about some more. And I have a video of this. Maybe we'll show this in a second, okay, Karen? But we do this program. Not to jump too far here. Is I love the job. It's fun. The job's given us a lot of opportunities, especially with our social media. To do TV shows and have millions of people on our social media. But a lot of the reason we do it is because we do tons of community service stuff. So one of the things that we do is I call it the Smile Again program. It's a program, and we just finished up the application process for it. But people will apply for it, and we'll essentially do like a smile makeover on them. And it's the $53,000 surgery that we normally bill for. We do at least one of those a year for free for somebody in the community. And people apply themselves, or you can apply for somebody else. And we usually have 3,000-4,000 people who apply, and then there's a process of narrowing this down to one person that we have to do, and it takes months for this to happen. And then we actually do their surgery for free, and we work with local dentists in the community that help us do the surgery for free, and they play a part in it. And actually, I have a video of this was the very first one that we had done. You got time? Show this real quick. We talk more about this. But this is kind of what it's all about. I mean, yeah, dentists, you guys can talk about how much money do you make and what do you bill for this stuff. I mean, I get it. It's good to have money. It's good to you got to pay your loans back. But at the end of the day, I'll tell anybody, and I mean it 100%, I don't do this job for the money. This has nothing to do with the money. There's so much other stuff I get out of being an oral surgeon other than the money that would make me do this any day of the week. All right, let's see what we got here. Ruby. All right, we got that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm excited. I'm nervous. I'm happy. I'm very happy.
In 4 hours, your life is changing, Ruby.
I really don't know what to say, really. I'm so nervous.
You know, when you see Ruby, you can tell she has a glow about her. Who are single mothers who put their kids and grandchildren first and they neglect themselves.
I never felt comfortable taking pictures. So, I wouldn't take pictures. If I did, I didn't smile. I did a little spurt. I always held my mouth just right because I knew that if I smiled too big, I would show my teeth, and people would see my smile.
One of the things that really touched us was Ruby would never take pictures with her family because she hated her smile.
All my kids and family would get together and we got to take pictures. Sometimes I would just step back and just let them take pictures and have fun.
By giving Ruby this new smile, we hoped that she would finally feel comfortable in her own skin.
It opened up so much more in me, that, I can, when I see strangers, when I'm walking in the store and stuff, I smile, and they don't even have to smile back at me and say hello to me. It just makes me feel good. I know I got a pretty smile now.
Everyone here at AOMS is so happy to see you smile again, Ruby.
I would like to thank Dr. Graves and his wonderful staff for choosing me. Thank y'all for showing me so much love. Thank y'all. Yes. I'm getting emotional. Sorry.
That was incredible. Even the comments on this video have been, you're making a lot of people emotional. Like that's amazing.
It really is. I mean, and she was the very first one that we did. And when TLC came to us about a show, I mean, I knew that was going to be the great show because we would do these, and these are people who actually pay for this, people who pay for the surgery. We would do the surgery and we would give them a mirror and we let them look at themselves when we were done. And everybody would start crying. I remember we did one for TV and we gave the mirror and the patient, she starts crying. And I look over and her husband is, and we're in Texas, is this big cowboy guy with this big cowboy hat on and he's crying. And then I look over and the dental assistant is crying too. So, I mean, the thing is that when you have really bad teeth, I mean, we all know that the first two things that people notice about you are your eyes and your smile and your teeth, right? And people with these bad teeth, man, they deal with this you can't hide from that. COVID, maybe, right? We're wearing masks now, but in the real world, you can't hide from that. It's something they deal with every time they talk to a new person or meet anybody is they realize that people are probably judging them because of their teeth. So they carry that weight on their shoulders their entire life. And that moment when they wake up and all of a sudden they don't have that anymore, it's a very emotional thing for people. And and like I said, I mean, we do this program for free, but I mean, it doesn't matter what you make out of that. I mean, money wise, you're going to get so much more out of knowing you're changing somebody's life forever than you would ever get in a paycheck or a job. So when people say, how much do you make? It's kind of a dumb question to me because I really don't care.
Mm-hmm. So do you know the reach of your program? Like how many people have you guys helped through that?
We do. It's a program that we do every single year. So we do one of those cases a year for free, and then when we do the stuff for TV, we do those. So I mean, we've done maybe 8 cases for TV, various TV shows that we've done for free. So I mean, we've done a lot of cases. I mean, we've probably done at least $600,000 worth of free whatever, just in this particular case. And we do other stuff as well as far as community service. And not only are we involved in this Smile Again program, our office does this education program, which is really similar to what you're doing right now. We do this thing every Friday, every February, where we come in and the school system's now involved in it, and they bus all the kids who want to be healthcare providers, and we rent out this humongous auditorium where they do the symphony at, and it seats, 12, 1,500 people, and they come in on school buses, and we bring in healthcare, we bring in plastic surgeons, we bring in oral surgeons, orthodontists, and they just get up and kind of talk what it is, why they became an orthodontist, what it means to be an orthodontist, just so that these students are exposed to those type of people.
Mm-hmm.
Real similar to what you're doing now, but it's just a different format.
Right.
I'm friends with that guy as a plastic surgeon. He was on the show The Swan. Remember the Swan? It was like an extreme makeover show, and he's speaking at our thing this year.
So I saw a question on here from Bianca, and she said, have you recently been seeing an uptake of emergency cases due to mental health suffering or financial insecurity due to COVID/during COVID? So like how has your practice changed because of COVID?
From obviously things slow down because of COVID. You know, it, you know, but when COVID first hit and the dental offices, a lot of them were closing, with the exception of like emergency type treatment, we had to stay open because if you think about oral surgery, if someone has a really serious emergency, like a really big infection, and you go to the dentist, more than likely you're going to get referred to the oral surgeon for treatment when it comes to that. So from our standpoint, it was important for us to stay open during the whole COVID, because what we didn't want and what the community didn't want, they didn't want someone who had a toothache or an abscess to go to the hospital, because that's where the sick people were. And the last thing you wanted to do is to be a healthy person with a toothache and go to the hospital, and then you get COVID from someone who's actually sick. And on top of that, we wanted the hospital to be reserved for people with COVID so that all the resources could go to, taking care of those patients as well as the PPE needed for the hospital. I mean, why burn that stuff up, on people with dental problems, right? With dental problems. So we really stayed open. Now our practice changed from being doing elective cases to doing emergencies, but we were always still busy during the whole COVID thing. So to us, there's not a huge direct correlation between the mental health of people and oral surgery directly. I'm sure we are seeing those patients in our practice, but I haven't seen a direct upswing in those patients.
Mm-hmm. So outside of that, how has social media affected your career and your life and everything in general, I guess?
right? You know, and when we first started, the first thing we did was Snapchat. And the reason we did that, there was this Dr. Miami, and I'm sure everybody knows who he is.
Yeah.
All our staff was like following Dr. Miami, and they're like, Dr. Graves, can we just do this surgery? So I mean, it was a big step because there wasn't really any dentists back there who were doing live surgeries. There definitely wasn't many oral surgeons who were doing, and we may have been one of the first people. And you know, look, you kind of put yourself out there when you're doing a surgery live. I mean, there's some things that maybe you don't have control of everything. It's not a contained environment. We're not filming this and we're editing things out that we don't want on the film. I mean, it is what it is, right? And we started doing that, and we got to the point where we get 50,000 people who would go on there and watch our videos live when we did Snapchat. And then Snapchat did this, they changed their format. They had an upgrade or update that they did that kind of hurt our social media a little bit. And then that's when we really started going over to Instagram. And then when TikTok first came out, we really jumped on that early on. And we've had lots of success on our TikTok, mainly from our characters here that we have on our TikTok, Evelyn and Alexis, but a lot from the videos of patients in the recovery room. And to us, it's a big marketing tool because I probably see at least one patient every single day that comes to us from TikTok, at least minimum one every single day. A lot of people come and they want to be on our TikTok. They request to be on our TikTok. Sometimes I talk them into it. If I know if you're going to be good or not.
You can sense the talent.
Yeah, I can talk them into it if I need to. But typically, to me, the best ones are like if you have siblings who are having surgery the same day, because they're real familiar with each other in the recovery room and they're a little bit drunk on the drugs. I mean, that's like the best combination. So if I get those combinations in my consults, I really try to talk them into it. Other than that, I have enough people who want to do it that I don't need to do that. I try not to talk people into it. But I mean, we have a little video. Maybe we'll show we have a little video that Chris put together that has some of our, for people out there who don't watch our TikTok or may not be familiar with our social media. You got time? We play real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Play it real quick and then we can talk about it, okay?
Yeah.
We got your Chris right here.
Angel, did you get those instruments sterilized like I asked?
What instrument?
I know what I said. If anybody knows what I said, it was me. And I know when I said it because I asked Alina to do something and she didn't do it either. And if you can't do your job, you need to get fired. F-R-I-E-D. F-R-I.
Look who's here. Oh, Lord. He's drunk? Yeah. Hey.
He was a little bit more out of it than you.
Y'all hurt him?
No,
We didn't hurt him.
Hold on.
Who's that? That's your brother? And who's this? Oh, your brother is emotional.
They cuddle. He's saying he needs them in the same chair.
Oh, they need a cuddle? Are you feeling better now, Ira? Yeah. Good morning, Samantha.
Good morning.
Are you giggly like Evelyn?
Seems like it.
What are you worried about?
gotta let me say anything done to my mom.
About graduation weekend? What'd you do last weekend? You graduated, yeah. How'd you celebrate? You watched Netflix. You watched a movie. Yeah, that's all. Oh. No, the movie was good. Huh? The movie was good. Notebook. Hey, today you can get $1.99 footlongs at Sonic all day. All day? No, I don't eat meat.
You don't eat meat and bun.
What are you even talking about?
Are you ready for your new teeth?
Oh, hope so.
Yeah? Are you ready? Dr. Graves is going to do a great job.
Oh,
Let's do a before shot. Here we go. Smile.
Big.
Big smile. Ooh, okay. Dr. Graves, you ready for this? You ready?
I'm all studied up, yeah.
You were born ready.
I'm born
Evelyn, you ready?
this.
We are ready.
All
All right. See you in a few. Wow, look at those. What do you think? Woo! You look amazing.
Oh, thank you.
William, how are you feeling? Yay!
I never say I made lasagna homemade. I've always bought the lasagna frozen. You thought I was making it myself? Wow, you think you know somebody.
Still feeling good?
I'm feeling good.
You feel good. But you can't tell me how good because Dad's here.
Hi. If I was smiling.
Dad,
Big fit.
you don't know what it feels like to smoke pot, do you? What did you say?
I don't even know what pot is.
So I'm settling into the new office. I feel like it's gonna be really good. I anticipate making lots of new friends over here. As they say in social settings, I'm kind of a social dragonfly. I do really good. Gonna hype the team up. So, how are my call girls?
Is the music too loud?
Excuse me. Do you think you could turn the music down? Why does it have to be so loud?
Are you not getting proper
I
service?
think you should, because I'm just feeling like I'm just not getting the proper service right now.
Do you need to see the manager?
I'm gonna need to talk to your manager.
Is your name Karen?
Karen, cubicle 1, please. Finally.
We know what it's like and we sympathize. At Oral Maxillofacial Surgery, we want to give back. All Karens will receive a 10% discount.
Time to use this thing. Perfect. Oh my gosh, Karen, your hair is beautiful today. Thank you.
At AOMS, we put the care in Karen.
Dr. Graves, we have an emergency. He's in critical condition.
What? Who?
Mr. Pudding.
Mr. Pudding? Here, boy. Let's go. It's worse than I thought.
I'm so sorry, but we are going to be having to do an emergency transplant on Mr. Pudding.
I'll give you a note if you have 3 days off. I asked for more than 3 days off. Oh, you need more than 3 days off? Yeah. Where do you work at? Stupid Walmart. Oh, I'll tell them.
Hey, Macy,
What?
your dad is saying hello.
Hi, Dad. I missed you. Why did you here with me? Oh, I'm getting sad again. I don't even know why. But your dad gave you the allergies. Yeah, stupid Dad. Why did you give me allergies? That was rude.
All right.
Wow, that totally gave me the laugh I needed for the day. When are you guys getting your Netflix original?
Yeah, 50% serious stuff.
What do you think of Karen?
Yeah, that you can get on Chris for that one, Karen.
Karen.
Iconic, really.
You're special. That's all we have to say.
And just for the record, I really was going to give a 10% Karen discount. I mean, that was like a legitimate thing. I don't know. So I may have done that. I don't know.
If you want to cash in on that, Karen.
Yeah, I might have to. 10%? That's crazy.
Legitimate. I was going to honor that just in case someone tried to call me out on it.
Yeah, I might just take a flight from Michigan to Texas just for that. 10%.
They're cheap right now. It may be worth it.
It might be, actually. That's awesome, though. So I'm going to look at some of the questions people might have had. There's a lot of, everyone's laughing really hard. But so just to like go through everything again. So for someone who might be considering pre-dental, what would be your advice to that student?
Like someone in high school or somebody like in college who want to be a dentist?
Yeah, college.
Yeah, I would say that you should probably just focus on. So I was saying you can work hard right now and then you can have fun the rest of your life, or you can have fun right now and you can work the rest of your life. So you can screw around right now if you're in college if you want to, but it's gonna be hard to get into those programs, and who knows what your career path may be at some point. Or you can just work really hard right now, and then you can be like me and just screw around all day long, right? I mean, but at some point I had to work really hard to get where I was, right? And you had to study a lot. So I'd say if you're in undergrad, especially if you're in high school, is that we all know that, man, if you have one bad year in college, things are so competitive right now to get into these graduate schools, and it's really hard to make up for that one bad year. You can do it, but it's more difficult than if you just buckle down and say, you know, I realize that going to dental school, you have to have good grades to do that. And I'm going to focus, make that my priority. And the way I kind of did it was really my job. And I didn't have money to pay for school. I took loans. I had loans to pay for my school. My parents never paid for anything. We couldn't afford it. But to me, that was some motivation for me, signing those loan documents saying that at some point I know I have to pay this back, whether I'm a dentist, I'm an oral surgeon, or I work in a factory, I'm paying these things back. So to me, that was a little bit of motivation for me to work hard and study. But if you're an undergrad, I mean, you have to study, you have to take it serious.
So question for Alexis and Evelyn. They are asking, I'm thinking about going to school for dental assistant. What are your guys' thoughts?
So Alexis is a nurse, and Evelyn's, she's a dental assistant, but we kind of call them surgical techs where we are, but her training is in dental assisting, and she worked at a dental office before. So
So I actually, thankfully, got very lucky. I was graduating high school and going to go into a dental assisting program. But I ended up losing my retainer, and I went into a dental office in the town where I live in Dumas, and I said, I need a new retainer. And he was just getting to know me and started asking me like what I was going to do. And I started telling him, well, he offered me on the job training, and basically I worked for him, learned everything through him. He taught me everything I know. And I believe maybe 3 months in, I started doing my test online and got my license through him. So it would have been maybe 2 years of dental assisting school, or depending on the program, it would have been different. But I started doing dental assisting right after high school.
So how would you compare oral surgery, what you do now, to general dentistry, which that's where you started? And there's no wrong answer here. Don't answer right here. There's no right answer.
It's completely different. Oral surgery is very intense. It's serious. We are in there doing what we need to do. Like Dr. Grace has done, what is it?
We're talking about like a surgery?
No. Like the changing the smile.
The smile again?
Yeah, like that. We do stuff like that and it's amazing. You change people's life. And that's basically how it is in general dentistry because it's more cosmetic. You do fillings, you do veneers. There's people who come in with just crazy teeth and they do veneers and they're perfect, beautiful teeth. And when they see them, they're happy as can be. Their life has changed and it's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoyed working for both of them.
Now, Alexis is a nurse. So in our office, most dental offices don't have nurses, but because we do surgery and we're a surgery center, we have nurses. What do you have to say, Alexis?
Hello. I worked in a hospital before I worked for Dr. Graves, and it's very different here. I did recovery when I started, and now I do sedation. So you see both spectrums of it. You see them before surgery and then after surgery. And like he said, even like the all-on-4s, things like that, you see them before they go to sleep and when they wake up and they're completely different people. So.
Well, yeah, and those people, I mean, you change their entire personality. I mean, if you saw Ruby, if you met Ruby before we did her surgery and you meet Ruby now, I mean, she feels like she's a rock star now. I mean, she was nervous when she came in. Now she comes in for her follow-ups like she owns the place. I mean, she really does. There's tons of confidence.
Kids also feel that way. They come in real nervous and they leave like they left a bar. So
yeah, the thing about our office is that so many people watch our social media. Like we had a kid yesterday that wanted to do our social media, and they drove from Lubbock, Texas, which is a couple hours away, and there's tons of oral surgeons in Lubbock. So it's not like they're coming from a place that doesn't have the same thing that I do. But they came to us because of our social media, and their mom during the consult was saying, yeah, she feels like she knows everybody at your office. So because of the fact that we do surgery, we do goofy stuff, we have plot lines that we have going during the office. Chris puts a lot of work in and effort into the social media.
Here he is.
Yeah.
That's my guy.
That's our guy right there. Yeah.
Like people think that we just make TikToks and have fun, but really we're in all this hectic surgery, this patient, that. And Chris is like, Evelyn, can I get 2 seconds? And I'm like, gotta go. Like, it's nice. It's not really our job. It's not a job to us.
We try to do this TikTok live every day at 1:00 Central Time. We're in Central Time, and it's very difficult for us to even do that because it looks like we have a lot of free time, but on some given day, I may see 100 patients that day. You know, in the office, we see 100 patients that day in the office. So
and it's back to back. Yeah,
it's busy, and there's some days that we'll do, you know. I did yesterday, probably 12 or 14 surgeries yesterday. Start at 7 and we'll operate until 5. So we're not just screwing around all the time. That's what I'm saying.
As it seems.
No, I have no doubt that you guys are not screwing around. You guys do a lot. So there's a question. Do you have a favorite employee?
They're like kids, you know. It's like
you see his shirt.
Yeah.
He is.
You know your own favorite employee.
No, that's his answer.
That's his answer.
My own favorite.
It's like asking your mom who's the favorite kid, right? She's going to say that I like them all. I mean, secretly she has a favorite kid, right? But the answer is I like them all.
It's Bandit.
That's
Bandit.
So do you want to talk about work-life balance? Like you do so much, it seems like, with all your practices. How do you manage your family life? And
I pretty much just work all the time for the most part. You know, I mean,
we're his new family.
Exactly. I mean, really, I usually wake up at 6 in the morning and start anywhere between 7 and 8, and then I usually work until I go to sleep at night because, you know, I'm still doing the surgery in the office for the oral surgery, but then obviously I'm running, you know, other multiple dental practices and pediatric dental practices. I mean, we have about 140 employees that work for us. We have a management office that's completely separate from any of our dental offices. We're in basically almost 3 states. We're right on the border of New Mexico, but we're in Oklahoma and Texas. So I mean, it's hard to juggle all these things.
Right. Come to Michigan.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to bring you to Texas.
Right. And here's
That
another
might
thing.
be a little easier.
Yeah. And here's one last thing is, so we have people we let people intern at our office all the time. And we just had a kid not too long ago that was going to dental school in Egypt, and he follows us on our social media. He came from Egypt to Texas just to follow us for a couple of weeks. We have somebody coming from Orange County in October. So we have people from all over who will come into Amarillo just to kind of shadow us. And we have those opportunities for people, especially people who are wanting in college, who are wanting to go to dental school.
Mm-hmm.
So that's always opportunities there if someone wants to do that.
That's awesome. So something to look forward to post COVID. So if you guys are listening, go down Texas. Get
Yeah.
Hang out with us.
Yeah, eat you a 72-ounce steak while you're here.
So just before we wrap it up, because it's been about an hour, just like any final words of advice, any tips, just anything you want to just end it off with.
You know, I think I just keep going back and hammer it down. Study, right? You don't have to have a 4.0, but there's so many things that go into getting into dental school. And once you're in, you're in. You know, the person who is the last person in their dental school class, grades wise, still is a doctor, right? They're still
Right.
just like medical school, but you got to get in. That's the hard part. And you can screw around once you're in. Just don't screw around before you get in, because making mistakes academically, it's just hard to get back from. And that's why we do that education program for mostly high school kids. We just want to put them on the right path from the get-go.
Mm-hmm. So for anyone else who might be interested in the social media, just in case you didn't catch it, could you pull up the slide that you had?
Oh yeah, that's right. There you go. There's our social media.
Yeah, guys. So if you guys are interested in giving him a follow, which you all should be after that was awesome. But there's
we have a lot of, not a lot. We were posting for a while, a lot of surgery videos on our YouTube, and we got busy doing other things, so it's kind of dropped off. But we have a bunch of surgery videos. We don't have the Charles. You guys are the first people ever to see Charles, because we couldn't really play that because of the TLC thing. They didn't want us to do that, and that still may be on TLC at some point, but we kind of kept that in the back burner. So this is the first time we've actually ever showed that video to anybody, but we have other ones on our YouTube as well.
Thank you so much for showing us the video, for talking to us. I know a lot of people were impacted by this. You converted a lot of pre-meds. So.
Oh, I can give me someone comes to my office for one day and we've completely ruined them. If you want to be a dentist, that's why I tell people that's the bad part about coming to my office, because if you wanted to be a dentist, you're going to want to do oral surgery when you spend a day or two with us.
Yes. Yeah, I know. I'm pre-med, but now I'll search up the dental schools near me.
Yeah.
But again, thank you so much for taking the time out of your guys' day to do this. We really appreciate it.
No problem.
And I see a lot of comments for the summaries, guys. So if you can just send the summaries to the email that we indicated on our Instagram page, just 3 to 4 sentences, what you learned, what you saw, and then we can send out a certificate. So next week on the 23rd, we're gonna have a nurse anesthetist, and she will be presenting a case study as well. So you guys can tune into that. Also, if you guys are able to donate, we would really appreciate it. I think we're going to drop the Venmo and Cash App in the comments, but if you're able to donate, we would appreciate it, because emailing software and the Zoom costs money, and we're just college kids, paying out of our own pocket. So even $1 helps. So if you guys can, drop anything, that would be helpful. Again, thank you so much for doing this. We really appreciate it.
No problem, Karen. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.